Okay, back. Sorry about that. I had to use the bathroom really badly, guys. I could not hold that any longer, so get the play. Oh man, my hat like messed up my hair. Don't look at me. I don't have pants on. Don't ban me, Twitch. No bannerito, please. By which, of course, I mean I'm just wearing my boxers. Ugh. All right, New Gettysburg gonna be the first map in the finals. TLO versus aLive. Let's get this party started. No extension mods. What are you talking? There we go. BattleNet's been really cool. Super duper awesome. So, I'm not sure if anyone else here plays World of Warcraft. I know some of you do for certain, but I'm imagining it is the minority. I keep getting this stupid bug. I have to relog again in a second, I think. Anyways, my only point of that was I had a lot of fun streaming my raids this weekend. I did a normal mode raid and a heroic mode raid. I had to do it on BaseTradeTV because I was having trouble connecting to my own Twitch account. Damn, I gotta relog. But yeah, it was pretty good times. And I don't know if anyone plays WoW, but I was hoping to do a thing where I really like doing dungeons. Like, I know a lot of people get bored of dungeons that they've done before. I really enjoy doing dungeons. So whether it's carrying people in mythics and heroics, I've got like 850, almost 860 eye level gear. I kind of want to do something where like we get like a group of people who know how to play this game on stream and just like carry viewers through or something. I think it would be kind of fun to do. But I don't even know if anyone here plays World of Warcraft to like pitch that idea to in the first place. So if anyone does, speak up, let me know your thoughts, and more importantly, are you Horde? By the way, to clarify on that statement, and I know this will like piss some people off, I love the Alliance, guys. Everything about the Alliance has always been my favorite thing. I love the way the Alliance characters look. I love their Alliance races. I can't host. I can't seem to host. I'm getting bugs. I gotta Alt F4 again. I don't know what's going on. I can't seem to host. It's just bugging the fuck out. What was I gonna say? Oh, anyways, I love everything Alliance, but the reason I play Horde is because all my friends play Horde, and my desire to play World of Warcraft with my friends outweighs my desire to be Alliance. So, that being said, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and like so many scumbag Alliance we got tuned in, or I mean Horde. I don't know. I'm sadly ambiguous on this one. But okay, hopefully someone else can host it up, because I cannot. aLive says he will make. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The bug I'm getting, by the way, is equivalent to the lobby bug. Like, every time I try to host, it just times out, and I really don't know what's causing that. In the meantime, my little kitty cat over here is still sleeping away. Billy, I'm gonna bug you for stream. Look at her, guys. She's so cute. I'm so mad at you for peeing on my clothes. You're so cute. Alright. Oh, you just hear it over my shoulder. By the way, I guess I should probably rehang up my green screen at some point. I ended up excuse me, I ended up taking my green screen down because it would hang off the ceiling here, and it caused a lot of problems where I tried to, when I had my arm broken, it was just like, even just tugging on it a little bit hurt a lot from my collarbone on this side. So I had to take it down because bumping into even just like cloth hanging from the ceiling really sucked. Gareth Lewin says, man, I hate to do it, but I gotta ban this channel for nude Castorino. What? I held up my covers, dude. You can't see it. Like, how do you know I'm not naked right now? What if I got do I have a beard under this? You don't fucking know. What's up, Gareth Lewin? Hope you're having a good day, man. aLive is finally getting the lobby up, but he's not inviting. Wonderful guy says used to love WoW, so many good times. Rip. Man, I can't even tell you guys, like I played every expansion of World of Warcraft. I've raided since like Burning Crusade. I I love Legion so much. I don't know what it is. The gameplay is really fun right now. I'm really enjoying the way they've reworked the garrisons. I enjoy the way they reworked getting gear. I mean, everything about Legion has been just amazing for me so far. Really like it. So it's pretty cool, and hopefully you guys do too. Where's Emil? Need Emil. Where is Emil? Boom. Hopefully whenever Emil gets back we can finally get this going. We're just waiting on him at the moment. He might be having some of the same problems I have. But continuing my World of Warcraft obsession for the moment, there's this really cool app that Blizzard made. Like, actually Blizzard straight up made it, and it lets you log in, not to like play the game on your phone, although that would be really cool. Yo, Emil, get in here. Where the fuck you is, son? But it lets you do like your garrison missions and stuff. So like, here's the world map of like Suramar. Like, you can zoom in, you can see the quests that are going on. You can, more importantly, they'll look at your mission map, and this is super sick because you can like send your dudes out on missions. I haven't had to log into World of Warcraft while I've been casting because I just send everyone on missions from my phone. It's so fucking convenient. I'm gonna message Emil on Skype. Where the hell? I don't want to sit here waiting all day for Emil. Yo, where are you? Gonna go without you if you don't join soon. I don't want to leave Emil out. I love him, and I don't want to disrespect his viewers. But seriously, Emil, if you're gonna go AFK, tell me so I know. Like, oh, hey, he's in the bathroom. He'll be back in like 30 seconds. Like, he's just not here. And I know he tweeted about casting this, so he's gotta be here, right? I don't. Okay, finally, let's go. Let's get this party started. All right, players, good. TLO says he's ready. aLive I know wants to go, so let's get this party started. Alright, New Gettysburg is to be the first map of this best of 5 finals for the Corsair Cup. Once again, big thank you to Corsair making all this possible. Without them, we wouldn't have this tournament going on every single week. Every single week. Although in some instances we have had to move it around and have like 2 a week because, you know, something was happening on the 3rd week. But, you know, let's ignore that. Ignore that. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1, the best of 5 grand finals coming up for this week's Corsair Cup. This is going to be a bit of a cross-server away team, though. In the bottom left side, he's coming all the way from Korea, playing on Korean connection in Korean time zones. It is none other than aLive, who I'm actually really hoping to see at the Alima League later tonight, too. More on that afterwards. Bottom right side, though, the blue Zerg. There's 3 times I've almost gotten Protoss, and I really don't know why. It's going to be TLO. Of course, he's European, playing on a home field advantage. Things should go a little bit better for him. But I do want to talk, speaking of the Alima League, we hyped it up a little bit earlier in the cast today. I'd really like to use this to remind you guys to bookmark it for later tonight. The timing for it is terrible. I absolutely hate waking up at 3 a.m. to cast. It is the worst feeling in the world for me. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., not a problem. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., not a problem. There's just something about 3 a.m. that is just like this perfect time zone of horribleness. That being said, tonight I'm going to have no problem dragging myself out of bed because we have Innovation confirmed to be playing tonight. We got other big signups like Byun and Solar and Ryung, Lucira, Pets. aLive is signed up. Okay, that's cool to see him over there too. And CJ Bunny even. I don't know how many of these guys are actually going to show up because this happened last week. Tons of 6 signups, but people forgot to actually check in and play. But Innovation confirmed to, I guess, Crank on Kakotalk, or whatever that screenshot is on Reddit, that he's actually going to play today. So that's going to be really cool in that regard. Hype, hype, hype. It's Innovation. But more importantly, the Alima League always has really good games, and I think tonight will be a lot of fun. Zomgrub should be here for that, by the way. Unless your plane gets delayed, or God forbid something terrible happens, it should be a duo cast for the night, for certain. I was kind of hoping she'd be here in time for the finals of this, as that may have been an option, but it is what it is. I also signed a contract this weekend I'm happy to tell you guys about while we get the slower openings. This weekend, means, sorry, not this weekend. This game will be streaming a new game, not StarCraft related. The best part is we're totally going to get paid to do it. But also, it actually looks kind of interesting. So I don't want to give away too much about it yet because we have to like super promo it on the day of. But I think we're aiming for Thursday. We should have a really cool game to show off on stream from a developer. Anyways, Reaper going to do a little bit of damage and be kind of annoying, but on creep, TLO should be able to handle this decently. Queen finally comes out, and he actually doesn't lose any lings for it, despite two of them getting kind of low. There is this little bit of aspect, too, where, okay, that latency. Could aLive really have actually focus fired down the lings? Well, we don't know. If you guys don't know, the worst part about lag in StarCraft 2, there's two types of it. And the worst part is when they both hit you combined. One is like delayed unit response, right? Like your latency is not good enough so that when you click, it takes your units a second to actually respond to you clicking. That sucks. The other part of it is straight up StarCraft lag, where when it can't handle all the information that it's already lagged out, it starts dropping frames. And you will sit there with a perfectly okay connection, but get like 3 frames per second. Both of these can happen when you're going Korea to Europe, unfortunately. So, not making excuses for aLive, just making sure everyone fully understands the battlefield and the conditions that are set for it. This is with 100% certainty going to favor TLO in that regard. But I'm not going to say it's going to favor TLO in terms of the series. aLive could very well take this 3-0. I love TLO. I respect TLO. I don't always agree with TLO. But that being said, it's something where aLive is just so good at this matchup. There's a good chance that you can just power through all these things working against him. It's furthered by the fact, too, that in Korea, if we're going to be brutally honest, guys, the Zerg players over there have not been shining quite like the star Zerg players in Europe. I hesitate to say that somebody like Nurchio is objectively better or not than somebody like Dark or anyone, but the results look pretty consistent when we see Korean Terrans fight foreigner Zergs. Beyond playing Snoot, some of the highest compliments in the middle of a game. We got others who just can't beat these guys. So TLO may be better than aLive expects. I don't actually know how many times these two have necessarily fought off against one another, if we're going to be honest right now, thinking on it. Not a lot of Korean versus foreigner action goes on outside of these weekly cups. We don't actually see TLO play that much, but aLive plays here rather regularly. There we go. Thank you, Marcos, by the way, for linking Crank's tweets. Adding some verification. Hey, Rivkin, are any Protoss playing tonight? Oh, I don't know, man. Billowy signs up for a lot of them. Super was playing in the Corsair Cup today, so I would hope to see Super play in the aLive League as well. But the problem that we have, and this happens frequently, is even if like a lot of good Protoss sign up, like you could have friggin' Zest sign up, right? The problem is, though, if 5 other people see Zest sign up, they'll all forfeit out. But some of those people will cause other people to forfeit out. So you end up having a lot of no-shows in a lot of Korean events because they all just say it's not worth our time. Which is so infuriating because I don't understand that mindset. But anyways, a couple tanks floating around the middle of the map and a resub paired up with a brand new sub. Oh, shit! Thank you to Red Sea Ding Dong for the 21 months. He says, what up? And I say, what up right back. But also, my Amarath 336. First off, now all I'm doing is thinking about that one Nightwish song. But secondly, thank you for the new subscription. I will remind people to replay packs for this tournament will be made available to subscribers only after the cast is done. So check your inboxes a little bit later today, a little bit later tonight, and you will find some nice, juicy replays. Backo SC2, or Backox. Either way, 4 months of resubbing, may not pronouncing the name right, and says, nice, looking forward to it. I'm assuming you're talking about the aLive League, and I am looking forward to it too, man. Trenton in chat asking, is the Ting Cup still a thing? There will be a Ting Season 3, ideally, but it won't be until after BlizzCon. In fact, I'll be talking with the guy who's in charge of all that, as he will be attending BlizzCon, and we'll be talking to some of the players while we're there to pitch an idea, because we want to change it up for Season 3 of Ting, but I don't want to give away too much right now because it's not finalized and things are still subject to change. So, shh. Top right side, I guess we do have the macro hatch rate coming out of TLO. So it looks like he'll be sticking to these lings and banlings. You can talk about the melee upgrades being for ultras and brood lords and many other wonderful things, but if you got that macro hatch rate down, chances are it's because you need a lot of larva early on. And if he's gonna really put the screws to aLive and make this a tough game for him to fight. The best way to do this could be through consistent pressure that doesn't trade badly. The worst part about watching this matchup right now, I'd say, is when you see Zerg players constantly diving in off of creep with too many Banelings, too many Zerglings, and it's just not worth the trade. But pretty nice focus fire, still ends up eating one of the Banelings, not so hot over there. TLO's also set up some burrowed Banelings. Oh, this is where we start talking about the tactics he is best known for. I actually really like this. He's put them in positions where, okay, right now there's no reason for units to path up here and come down, but there's plenty of reasons. Oh, he had to go up to the top of the ramp. aLive scans for that too. I don't think he was scanning necessarily for burrowed Banelings, but he was scanning to see where TLO's army was. And the Banelings, unfortunately, are just going to have to reburrow over here and force out another scan if aLive wants to kill them. The two on the bridge also guarantee that nothing walks across that bridge with too much ease either. Scan going down here on the right side. I guess we got the infestation pit churning away at those fungal, pathogen glands for the fungal growths. This will be a welcome addition to any army, but especially TLOs, which is going to have Banelings in it. Scans to kill some of the creep tumors. Unfortunately, those Banelings are caught in some of the crossfire. Today I learned that a Baneling, while burrowed, will still splash damage rocks if killed next to it. That's kind of neat. That is the problem when you go for these clever tactics, though. TLO, by the way, I love this. Burrowed Zergling at every base means that aLive, it's going to cost him a scan to take any expansions. Already adding value to any time that happens. But, oh, Widowmine's popping off on some really nice hits for those Lings. But going back on this goes back to the point where, yeah, every time there's creeps spread on the map, you can't really burrow anything nearby. If you do, then it's going to be really obvious, and scans will be going down over there. We do need a bit of detection for TLO. Backs away from these Widow Mines. I think he knows the approximate location of them because he wasn't ready for them, so unfortunately doesn't quite have a means to deal with them just yet. These may still yet get good hits on Lings, and oh, a bit of lag. Hopefully that's not me. Running left, running right. Banelings, you managed to burrow in the heat of battle. These are the best Banelings, by the way. When the ones that are, it's almost hidden in plain sight. You weren't looking for it because you thought you killed everything. Maroon Pirate hits me up with a 6-month resub. Says BaseTradeTV is online. Life is worth living again on this Monday. Unfortunately for you, sir, we are already in the finals, but it's game 1, so sit tight. You got about an hour of good games ahead of you still. Ling's hoping to run all over the place. A couple burrow. It's going to force scans to just cause some shenanigans. I mean, really, TLO has set up this thing where it'll be nice for further engagements, but right now, there's nothing you can really... Like, these aren't Banelings. I mean, I hesitate to say this because I am on the other side of this balance complaint, but I wonder how cool it would be if you could morph burrowed Zerglings into Banelings underground. I mean, it's just a cocoon, right? Like, that's what the burrowing is already kind of accomplished in and of itself. Units choked to the main, unfortunately. Can't quite reach out for these, and the Zerglings will run over to the natural base. Maybe get a couple kills over here. This draws aLive back for a moment. Fungal growth catches the Medivacs, but no follow-up available. Simply more fungals. I think the best type of fungal he would have loved to have gotten would be on top of the bio, run the Banelings into that, but unfortunately not going to be the case. Tanks managed to unload. Medivacs still alive. TLO, although, is on Ultra Tech. I didn't even realize those were already on the way. Chitinous Plating's finishing up too. And I'm not sure aLive's army is necessarily going to stand up to this. This is where I think pulling those Infestors back was a really smart move. Not diving in for kills to get maybe trades out with Banelings, but to instead follow up with guaranteed kills on those Ultras. A fungal growth or two here and there is always nice. We get the Infestor burrowing through to the front lines. I think you want to pop out. There we go. Fungals go down, but it's not going to be a big fight here that matters that much. Widow Mines still haven't really gone off on anything. Hits some of the Lings, and TLO may have found himself a little bit too over-dedicated, but hold the phone! He actually gets a huge fungal on the top side of that army! Takes out a good quarter of aLive's forces and continues to push on through. The thing I do worry about for this, though, is there's no longer a lot of support for these Ultralisks. They're really great when they got fungal growths or Lings or Banelings or anything accompanied them, but even though the upgrades are still favoring TLO, he's going to lose these Ultras at this rate. Bounces back, goes north side, splits his Ultras, bunker gonna break. aLive's army, though, trying to do what it can to punch through this impossibly thick chitinous plating. What's the default armor actually calling these guys? Zerg Ground Carapace. How lame. Terran get like cool names usually. I guess it's just the weapon upgrades. Either way, TLO gonna take the game #1! And that gives him a nice lead here in the series. But it is the finals, and I need to play some breaks, so don't go anywhere, guys, and I'll see you soon with more. Alright, folks, we're back and getting into game. Thank you for watching that quick break. It is game number 2 here in the finals of this week's Corsair Cup. Spawning in the bottom right side of the map. He actually leads 1-0 to his opponent. It is going to be the European defender, the Blue Zerg, TLO. And in the bottom left, it's going to be coming from Korea, the away team player, the Red Terran, aLive. A lot of people really happy to see the way TLO managed to take that game at the end. But unfortunately, for aLive, it's not a good start. That was a pretty solid game out of him, too, leading up to that point. Nothing too risky, nothing too crazy. Caught a lot of broad bailings. You know, TLO didn't get away with a lot of shenanigans. TLO got away with freaking ultras and macro. And while I'm sure that's going to inspire some balanced complaints out of some in chat, I would like to remark that I think it was a good game out of TLO, and I think he definitely deserved that victory. But aLive really makes me question. So it was his map pick. For those who don't know, in the Corsair Cup, it's loser's pick, and he chose to go on Frost. Maybe hoping that this wouldn't be cross-spawn, and maybe hoping that this would give him better macro opportunities. I really would imagine somebody in aLive's position, though, someone who's very well versed and well trained in things like cheese, would be a lot more inclined to go for, hey, galactic process and do a 3x Reaper, things like that. Not how that played out, though. And really curious to see how and what he has in store for this one. Now, of course, big thank yous to Corsair, as I've been constantly reminding you guys about. They are the sponsors for the tournaments. And the best way that you guys can help us out to ensure that we keep getting more awesome Corsair Cup action in the future is to, first off, go click the links down below in the stream. Those links very particularly tell them that you came from BaseTradeTV. Secondly, if you want to buy any gear, that's awesome. If you already have any gear, tweet us pictures of your gear. Obviously, I love seeing Corsair stuff, as I was showing off that mousepad earlier. Absolutely unnecessary to have these lights, but it looks so goddamn pretty because of it. And the mousepad, I will say, now that I've used it for about an hour or so of casting, it's very nice. Like, the traction on it's fine. I don't see any resistance. It's quite comfortable, and there's no weird thing where the laser's darting all over the place. Like, if anyone's ever done that with a mouse, I mean, let's be honest, every mouse has done this at some point. You get like a little piece of hair in there, or you're on a reflective surface, and it darts all over the place, not where you want it to. I will say this mousepad's awesome. None of that going on whatsoever. It is 10 out of 10. Anyways, new toys are cool, but Reaper does manage to get a ling here. Nothing too crazy. Also, I believe got a drone for his troubles. So aLive already looking better this game than the last as far as this goes, but let's be honest, this doesn't really boil down to a Reaper, and the opening doesn't make or break the rest of this game. It's going to be what aLive chooses to do as the follow-up. A lot of Terran players go with these 2 medevac pushes, get a lot of Marines filled with them, get that stim timing timed out well with that 1-1, and the aggression it provides tends to hit Zerg players just before he gets to that point, or they get to that point of having enough to deal with it, and stim ends up winning out big time. Now, if aLive's going for one of these pushes, we'll see if the timing times out for it, but unfortunately for him, TLO is also not a player who tends to play overly greedy with drones, and you will usually have units out in the field and not get caught off guard by said attacks. That being said, it does look like it's going to be precisely the 2 medevac combo. Now, actually, I don't find so much trouble in the medevac push initially. Of course, you know, this is a lot of result of the game changing over time, right? On one hand of it, you used to see the first medevac go out as soon as humanly possible. Then Queen's got the range buff, and Terrans can no longer do it because Queens, as TLO said, if they can't fly, nobody else is allowed to either. And the 2 medevac push became a bit of a response to this because it was the only way to get units across the map, and any number that could deal with the Queens, usually be about 5 Queens out to meet them, and not die for it. The thing I find interesting, though, is not necessarily that drop, the way it's changed. It's the follow-up. It's the 3rd medevac. It's like Building 7 in the Trade Towers disaster. Like, everyone's got the conspiracy theories, and I think the power from this push... I know it's a terrible joke in poor taste. Forgive me, guys. But the power for this comes in that 3rd medevac. The one that you don't see go to the main, and the one nobody really notices and talks about, because that's the one that draws everything else away, allowing those 2 initial medevacs to go back in. That being said, I'm doing a lot of theory crafting and talking about like what's going to happen here for the Terran point of view, but everything on this hinges on how TLO handles it. If he pushes off the first 2 medevacs really handily, then that 3rd medevac doesn't mean jack squat. Alternatively, if he's ready to go in the main and he responds to both and he doesn't lose anything, then aLive loses a lot of power to the pushes and is forced to have to trade. That's where you have to start sacrificing units, unfortunately, here and there. But these 2 medevacs are going to go straight to the main. That next one, I imagine, goes straight over here. The 1-1 doesn't time out with this, though. I do want to point out that is a big difference. It's just going to be for a quick stim. So as this advances forward, he takes a 3rd CC. Overload on the main's going to die, so TLO's not going to get much scouting with this, unfortunately. And full surround, TLO with a quick response will push us back. Now, he doesn't have the queen count to just jump on top of this. He does have 5 queens, but with only 1 in the main initially, can't really force these medevacs out just yet. But one of them getting low. The Widowmine helping clean that up, and oh my god, aLive's Widowmine killed 3 Zerglings, but basically killed that push. Feels bad, man. Oh my god. That was... I can't even begin to talk about how bad that was for poor aLive. And with that, there's no power-up for a follow-up. He does have that medevac looking to go over towards the 3rd, but realistically, all it can do right now is hope to hold onto the watchtowers. TLO's knocking down the rocks. He won't even be caught off guard over here. That Widowmine, I guess, repositions, but only into more queens. Run home, little guy. Burrow! It's too late. You're dead. Feels bad. 4th base gets taken while this goes on, and aLive is just not looking so much better for it. As he falls back towards grabbing a consolidated force, he may end up following this up with a push instead of continue to harass. My concern then lies, and that's where TLO I think is going to excel and shine with Banelings. He's already got Banelings out in play. He doesn't have speed yet or anything like that, but it's gonna be bad. Snickle Fritz in chat asks, BaseTradeTV, does Chairs for Gaming ship to Canada? Yes, actually, they're based out of Canada, and there's a different website for it too, chairsforgaming.ca instead of chairsforgaming.com. Quick shout-outs that BaseTradeTV will still save you $20 and still give you free shipping, but if you buy it from the Canadian site, you'll probably have better options, different options regarding your shipping. So if you are looking for a DX Racer, I would highly recommend checking out Chairs for Gaming. They're another big sponsor here on the channel, and long time, big love for them as they are awesome, awesome people to work with. Command Center is not going to be able to land. Pesky Ling. I think it's combination tank shooting it and SCV's baiting it. Do move it out of position. Middle of the map, a bit of a scuffle. Marines aplenty, but Banelings, no speed off a creep. This could go bad. TLO going to absolutely force aLive to pick up out of this. Kill several Marines for it, and aLive doesn't get many Marines out of that aLive. Speed finishing up, though, any second. 2-2 starts up well before aLive starts his. And, of course, Infestation Pit on the way. We may just be heading towards a very similar ending to the first game, where Ultralisks are in mind for TLO, and he's just taking the slow, necessary steps to get to that point. You know, unfortunately, no matter how bad aLive plays, like even in his worst games, TLO can't really take too many risks or make many mistakes, but this was a situation where he gets a little bit greedy, in my opinion. The tank pops off, the Banelings don't really connect with much, and while the Zerglings are getting good kills, they are at their limits. I take this back, though. I didn't even realize he got to the mineral line while this was going on, so okay, the army trade not so great. Killing 19 SCVs, though, that certainly was. I mean, one of the tanks went down, and that was not that big of a pick-off, but the fact that TLO still has staying power blows me away. This should have been him pulling back a long time ago. A couple of burrowed units here and there as well. Even a burrowed Baneling looking to hit these Marines. Looks like he'll save that for another day. There's really no reason for aLive to be scanning this either, so he won't lose those anytime soon. But maybe on the retreat as the units get pushed back into this Baneling. TLO, he's got the unburrow, gets a huge hit on the core of the Marines, and this forces aLive back once again. More SCVs go down, the ones that have been transferred through. Marines are so low, the tanks are helping friendly fire them down. Banelings get big hits on the front line, and TLO is continuing to just flood with more and more Zerglings. Well, maybe I was hoping that this would go straight to Ultras. TLO has once again littered the ground with burrowed Banelings as he retreats back. aLive doing double scans to check the 4th. He checks the main, but the Hive's actually at the natural, so he won't see any of these crucial timings. Scans to see what's up. I think aLive at this point is fully aware it's not safe to go anywhere while TLO has burrow. This, by the way, is one of those rare times where I think a Raven is well worth investing into. Consider that aLive has just burned almost 6 scans in the last 2 minutes. One Raven would have saved him so much energy. Like, gosh. Alright, well, the infestation pit has led to the hive. It's got pathogen glands ticking away right now. We are going to see a considerably strong force out of TLO, but he's already done so much damage this game without any of those higher tech units. It's been Ling Bane. Ling Bane with a little bit of Burrow side action. You know, it's that girl on the side. He doesn't mind giving Burrow some love once in a while, and unfortunately for aLive, he's at such a tough point. Such a tough struggle getting to this point in the game. I don't think it gets much better from here on out. The Baneleys, by the way, I'm curious. I don't know if there's a dynamic where +3 will let them one-shot workers or not. 43, 45. I guess if he didn't have armor, +3 weapon upgrades might just let him one-shot some of these SCVs. But unfortunately, we're not going to get to see that anytime soon, as that one bird Baneling is even better off just used on Marines. Drain some medevac energy, maybe get a kill or two on the retreats. I don't know. But 3-3 starts up for TLO. aLive not even thinking about 3-3 right now. He can't afford it after all. He's got gas, but he doesn't have minerals. And the Ultra Dynamic comes into play once again. This time around, we might not have Ghosts for aLive, but we do have some Liberators coming out. Liberators might help turn the tides of battle. It's uncertain, but... oh man, this Infestor. Looking for that fungal. Catches every single unit in that army! Big surround out of TLO. He's looking for kills. He's looking for blood. None of the fungal comes down, catches the medevacs! Nothing to kill the medevacs, but the army underneath it gets absolutely obliterated. And aLive has to pull back. No more pushing power on the creep, and no way to continue this fight. It kind of sucks that TLO doesn't have at least like 1 or 3 Ravagers to go with this, to Corrosive Bile that combo, but still, that's not the focus. That's not the emphasis. A lot of it's going to go into the Ultralisks that are coming out next. I love the way this game has been played out at TLO. It's so wonderful watching him play a game this well against a player as good as aLive. Like, this isn't some random low league Masters player. This is a Korean Terran who has won a couple of the Corsair Cups in the past, right? So it's nice seeing TLO playing at its full potential against a really, really tough guy like this. But will this be enough? Liberator set up. It's looking like that's not going to be the case. The Liberators are not going to stand up too well to this Spore Crawler. If the Spore Crawler gets damaged, that might trigger the fight. TLO has so many units to come in with, so many angles with which to engage. He gets a fungal growth off, catches some of the units in the middle of the map. Ultralist still staying back. He knows he has to wait for that chitinous plating. It's 10 seconds out, and if he engages too soon, all the Ultralists will melt away. aLive is not pressuring. He's not pushing. There's no necessity to go in so quickly, and TLO knows it. Comes in from the north with some Banelings on that backside. Ultralists, of course, going to get transfused by the Queens. That one Ultra's actually blocked out by the Queens. Banelings from the backside separate, split, and this gets all kinds of bad for aLive. It's not even going to be a close fight at the end of the day. His army gets annihilated. GG's get called. And TLO takes a 2-0 lead in the series and is now on 1 win away from locking down this week's Corsair Cup. I think this really goes back to, again, TLO, Nurchio, Snoop, like every foreigner Zerg is so good at this matchup compared to the Koreans, and I'm not sure if aLive is just unpracticed, if he's having a bad time. I mean, God knows he's fought against people like a Laser and Guru and others in the past, but TLO is just giving him no breathing room. We're going to go to a commercial break, though, guys. It's the next game, maybe the last one, so stick around, and I'll see you in two minutes with Frozen Temple. Okay, we're back, and yeah. Countdown's already started, so let's just hop in a game. It is close to being locked down and finished up. And by the way, I owe TLO showmatch money. I owe him possibly today's prize pool. This guy's gonna get a big paycheck from BaseTradeTV today. I was unaware, by the way, so actually clarifying that we ran some awesome show matches with TLO, Cham, Kelazur, and Lily Kaneen a few days ago, and I wasn't aware that I was the one who's going to be paying it out. So I have to still pay that. I was just going to wait till we had to do the Corsair Cup today, because then I'd have to make additional payouts anyways, and just get it all done in one day. So TLO's got a good chunk of money coming in from that, plus whatever, like, if it's first place, he gets $60 from the Corsair Cup. If it's second place, he gets $20. Either way, that's some good sitting around money. That's some good getting some dinner money, if I've ever heard of any. But, man, I wish, actually, that would be the dream, right? Like, forget casting for a moment. I wish I was good enough at a game that I could play a tournament for 4 hours and just buy dinner and lunch with the prize money. That's the dream right there. Anyways, spawning in the top left side of the map. He's on his last life. It's his absolute last chance to win. I wish him the best of luck, because it doesn't look good so far for him. It's going to be the red Terran coming from Korea, aLive. And of course, his opponent in the bottom right is going to be none other than the blue Zerg player, Team Liquid's TLO, who has just been wrecking this series. Now, he goes to the pool first, and this has absolutely everything to do with the fact that this is Frozen Temple. He's not going to scout it initially. You're going to play a little blind into it, but you assume, for every reason that makes sense, that aLive would do multi-racks Reaper against you here in this game. Now, of course, we know that that's not actually what's happening, and it's just this and New Galactic Process are the two maps where you almost mind game yourself into guessing what the Terran's going to do, because it is so predictable. It's so likely that those situations occur. Scooter, 11 months on the resubs is almost 1 year. It's been great, dude. I can't wait for next month, because then I can get you the paperwork to fill out to get your Partouf. Get a real life medallion. We've actually seen some pretty cool uses of the Partoufs, by the way. I know there's like Meal Mage. I've met him in Vancouver a couple times. He turned his Partouf into like a medallion. I know some people have straight up mounted them on like walls and stands and things. It's always really cool to see the way people value these coins. I say coins, but really it is more like a giant poker chip made of metal. It's like a slammer jammer for if you're playing Pogs, dude. Anyways, a couple Lings gonna poke up into the base, and they won't reveal too much. The one Reaper in the main is actually gonna be a little bit of a problem for TLO. He tries to build cancel that Spore Crawler. Nicely done. Another drone gonna go down for this. Catches the Reaper almost, but one drone goes down, and unfortunately another one almost dies with it. The Lings would ideally have picked off the SCV build in the command center, but aLive perhaps overreacting to this, thinking a lot more Lings are on the way, because there was nothing at home defending against that Reaper. You kind of assume, okay, there's two, but there's probably 4 or 6 coming. So a little bit awkward, but not too bad overall, as he does keep the command center alive, the SCV alive, it finishes, and now he can play the game out the way he'd like. We got Rimcraft in chat commenting on the animation for the break screens. The animation's awesome, boys. Both Terran and Protoss against the Zerg. Zerg needs some love. So in that instance, Zerg is kind of like ad block, and the other two are myself and Zombie Grub trying to make pennies for every time we run a broadcast. And it does take... my point is, don't watch the animation, dude. Turn off your ad blocker and consider watching the ads instead. That's all I gotta say on that matter. I know not everyone gets ads though, and some people actually straight up feel guilty, and that's fine too. It's all good. It's all up to you guys. I actually, if you ever want to have Rifkin, just if you want to be guilt-free whenever I talk about not watching commercials, my Patreon actually has a ad block absolution ads it's the tier, so you don't have to feel guilt at all for contributing. I think it's like $2 a month or something. Man, I have not advertised my Patreon in a while. I should actually rework on that. I always get so disappointed because the Patreon never works out the way I want it to. People, on one hand, it's my bad because I don't get to follow up on all the rewards that I want to, and on the other, nobody really claims them. Like, for example, we got this one option for people to pick a host, a channel to host. Like, let's say you, Joe Schmo's Twitch user, have a best friend who you want to surprise with like a 2,000 viewer bomb. You know, $25, I think. I can't remember what the tier reward is off the top of my head. Like that, we'll host them for you once a month. We'll hook you up. Like, there's some cool rewards on there, but nobody claims them ever. So I don't know what to do with my Patreon to make it more enticing, because yeah, nobody takes advantage of the things. Anyways, that aside, looks like with the hatchery finishing up at the 3rd, TLO might just leapfrog for a 4th. I'm not sure why the drone would come out so early otherwise. Yeah, it looks like he'll do just that. Doesn't have the money for it right now, but tearing down rocks while he waits. aLive on the other side of the map, though, working on his upgrades. He's got that 1-1 timing out much better with Stim this time around. Not a lot better, but better nonetheless. Looks like he will have the starport coming soon, but this was a lot more emphasis on barracks than it was for drops, and it looks like he's just going to try and secure a 3rd of his own. And if this goes to passive macro play, every single time I give the passive macro play to the Zerg player, I don't care what the matchup is, if it's Protoss, if it's Terran, like as long as the Zerg player takes as much advantage of the greed opportunity presented as possible, you're going to have a pretty good time. Now TLO is droning pretty notably, but he's also getting army units too, so he's not aware that aLive's not really looking to do too much. In fact, doesn't even know about the 3rd just yet. That Overlord could ideally come down and scout. Not a lot of Overlord speed out of TLO, so he's not going to be able to get down there easily and check. And I'm such a big advocate and a big fan of people who go Overlord speed. I think Snoot, amongst others, are really good examples of where it pays off the most. But TLO is also a smart guy, and he might just be simply guessing what his opponent's doing and guessing correctly. What is this link in chat from Marcos? Oh my god, first off, it's Dodger, so automatically love whatever it's going to be. Secondly, my favorite color is no pants. Where can I buy that t-shirt? Can someone find me a link for that right now, please? Please? I know some people look at that in like a sexual context, because you're like, haha, no pants. But me, I'm just like, no, fuck wearing pants. They're constricting, they're uncomfortable. Boxers all day, every day, please. So please, if someone has a link to that shirt, I'm going to buy the fuck out of that right now. Pardon my swearing. We do have the Zerglings. Okay, that was a bit awkward. The Zerglings burrowed over here. They don't really do much in terms of like threatening damage. After all, it's one Zergling, but it is scouting for TLO. And while you can't keep Overlords up because aLive will snipe them off, you can keep the Zerglings burrowed and see exactly where that army is moving. So he's aware that the wall over here is left undefended because he just saw everything moving to the left side. Otherwise, this would be a risky move to go in like this. Could be Widow Mines, it could be everything waiting for him on the other side of that. Dehumanizer brings up a good point about ads, by the way. If you're using Twitch Turbo, that works too. Twitch Turbo is really awesome, and for those who don't know how Twitch Turbo works, like, yes, you have to pay for it, but what it does is if you're in the channel, every time we run a commercial, Twitch just counts up the amount of Twitch users that have Twitch Turbo. So, like, let's say it's 100, right? They'll be like, okay, cool, we'll just apply that number to the ads, and there you go. So it just pretends everybody saw the commercials, even if they didn't. So Twitch Turbo is another great way. Absolutely. I mean, I prefer money to me. Oh, big hit out of TLO! But, you know, whatever floats your boat. Twitch Turbo lets you help a lot of people at the same time, which is always nice, too. But as the Marines push south, they did walk past two more Banelings, and aLive must be careful not to walk over them. TLO's actually got them in pretty nice positions, as these would be predictable engagement paths. Oh man, that's so cool though. I didn't realize that one Baneling was going to do that much. Unless that was two and I just realized what I was looking at. Either way, aLive's army constantly just taking these hits that you would never deal with against most players. And this is such a TLO thing. Now unfortunately, that problem we brought up before is the fact that it's on creep this time. So you are going to catch any Banelings burrowed on creep. Coming around the left side, though, TLO wanted to make his presence known. This wasn't just like a, oops, the Marine caught me. Like, he really wanted aLive to come back this direction. And aLive, unfortunately, will once again find himself perhaps walking on top of Banelings. Oh, no! The scan is good, though, at the last second, and TLO is denied these really awesome hits. But, like, if we're going to be honest here on the cost-value scale, guys, to scan for two Banelings is worth it. For both sides of the equation. In fact, it's one of those awkwardly even trades. We do have a Widow Mine in the middle of the map, so he saw that there were Banelings made. He saw that there were Banelings burrowed. Maybe hoping that TLO... Oh, was that bait out of TLO? Was that the sickest bait out of TLO? I think it was! Makes it look like there's no Banelings in play, but big hits on the core of that army. And once again, aLive loses a lot of what he had to fight with. TLO may be on a similar army supply, but it's 144... Zerglings, sorry, 142 Zerglings to the 50 Marines of aLive. That's almost 3 times the Zerglings, not to mention there's Banelings, there's Queens, there's going to be some Infestors and Ultralists on the side of all that. It's just a numbers game that really favors a Zerg player who's trading out like TLO. But oh my god, the Widow Mine, it just killed 17 units, and while TLO was getting phenomenal Baneling hits this game, he unfortunately takes a really unfortunate Widow Mine hit here. Unfortunately unfortunate. Let's get that out of my system and never do that again. There's 3 Banelings burrowed in the heat of battle, and I don't know if aLive saw that or not. The hardest part is catching TLO doing the tricks that he does. It's like Penn and Teller. You know that they're doing tricks. You just can't see how they're doing it. You're like, I know that's not really magic. I know you didn't put those Banelings over there in teleportation. I just didn't see you slip the card up your sleeve. And god damn, TLO is so good at doing that in the heat of battle. And I love it too because it's really obvious. If you burrow all your units, everyone sees that coming. If you burrow 3 precisely, it's really hard to tell with the corpses flying everywhere, even on low graphics settings. But even harder to tell on high and ultra. What's up to the stream? Just bragging a little bit. But 2 more Banelings for TLO! aLive, it's not safe! Go back home. This is how people develop agoraphobia. Too scared to leave the house. Not safe to leave the base. And once again, I stress, build a Raven at some point. That being said, I like what he's doing back at home. We got a Ghost Academy coming up. And maybe, just maybe, the Ultralisk will not run so rampant this game. But make no mistake, guys. Ghosts and Snipe are really not in a great spot right now. It's one of these units where Ghosts look incredibly overpowered or they look absolutely terrible. If TLO, for example, ends a fungal growth on the Ghost, the dot tick from the fungal interrupts the Snipe and they can't actually shoot the Ultras. Alternatively, they EMP the Infestors and then free fire on the Ultras and you're like, damn, Ghosts are good units. Either way, full upgrades for both players. 3-3 for aLive, finishing up right around the same time. 3-3 finishes up for TLO and Chitinous Plating and everything you could possibly hope for. Zerg tech out the wazoo. Looking to come in for a big fight. Big shout out to Ishlok Leonator. 19-month resub. Banelings and Ultras on that front line. The Marines, the Bio, they get fungled. Chasing back even further. Ghosts are going to be getting those snipes off, and TLO has no infestors with fungal growth left, but the Ultra actually manages to get a cleave, and those Ghosts now have no energy on them. Maybe a couple of snipes between two of them, but really not enough to kill the Ultralisk army. So as TLO falls back, he rebuilds his troops. He should be okay to go for round 2. But man, if aLive wins this game after so many amazing baneling hits from TLO, I am going to be astonished. However, that looks to be the way this is going right now. Liberators still have shaky answers. TLO has never really invested much into anti-air through any of the games so far, and he's up 2-0 for it. So I won't question that just yet. And he's actually going to run around the army and decide to go for these multiple attacks through harass. Wouldn't mind the depots does take out a good chunk of the lings, unfortunately. I don't believe he... Oh, he did get Adrenal Glands. I didn't see that finish up. So these are cracklings, and they are burning through the supply depots. TLO actually might even supply block aLive off of this. But says, no problem, let me help you with that supply block. I'll kill some of your units. Now, as the attack does come in, TLO pushes through the south as well. He's once again burrowed a couple of units here and there. Ultralisk on top of this. Ghosts go for the EMP. There's still a fungal growth left, but TLO's going to choose to disengage instead. That may just be the better option in this scenario. Couple Overseers out without Overlord speed. Man, they move slow as hell. And this sort of harassment attack combo that TLO pulled off was pretty nice. It's not one in the game just yet, but we got Vipers and other things coming out to help with that. I think a Blinding Cloud's going to be cool, but most likely we're going to see abducts going off. I mean, if you abduct a Ghost, it's going to be worth it every single time. So 3+ Vipers on the way. You need a limiter for your audio? Dude, I know. I actually have an Elysis thing right next to me. I never got to work. My bad. I get so excited for some of these fights. That's 100% on me. Sorry about that. TLO gets a full surround on that third. He's also going to get on top of so many of these units, or these buildings. A lot of them are on fire. But with all the action and all the crazes, I never got to look at chat. Did anyone ever get a link to that shirt the Dodger was wearing? Because I would 100% still buy that shirt. But man, I can't wait to go back through this game and make a bunch of clips from all these baneling moments, because holy freaking moly. Holy freaking moly, this has been a game. We got Fungals coming out here with some Corrosive Biles to kill those Ghosts from far away. I like that move. Of course, the nice thing is you don't really need a lot of upgrades on Ravagers. Their Corrosive Bile just does straight up 60 damage. Can't be upgraded, can't be reduced. So as he does invest in +1 range, keep in mind, guys, this game is so much less about the auto attack out of those Ravagers than it is anything else. Ling's still killing away at these SCVs. Marauders at the top of the ramp. Not going to do too much. He pulls aLive all the way back home, and aLive once again in a problem where he just cannot find a moment to breathe. TLO double expanding, by the way, to the top right all the way, because you know what? Why not? You can get away with it. Absolutely. Marcos just hit me up with a link to the shirt store, by the way. Thank you so much. I can't wait to wear one of those a bit later. Scan goes down. Fungal growths catch the army, but is this going to be enough to do anything with? Ooh, I like the Parasitic Bomb. That's going to pair up nicely, and these Liberators get demolished for it. Doesn't quite kill all of them, but man, oh man, are they low. They're all one shot from dead. Ghost on the south side. It may have been a bit of an over-sacrifice of the Infestors if he can't stop the Ghosts from firing. Ghost got the snipes coming into play. Ultras can't quite get the splash. Banelings and everything do what they can to interrupt the snipes. Now the Marauders getting backwards, and the Ravagers looking to catch the army with the corrosive vials. So sick! TLO just completely wrecked aLive for the 3rd game in a row, and I think that this is going to be that 3-0. We had a bit of questionable time where this got sketchy for TLO, but aLive taps out, and ladies and gentlemen, TLO takes the series 3-0. Not only taking on a very formidable Korean, but doing it with style. The Baneling burrows were so sick in that series. I'm like actually spitting because of how excited I got watching that. That was awesome. If you weren't a TLO fan before, first off, what's wrong with you? Did you just start watching StarCraft? Secondly, you should be a fan of him certainly for now. But that was so cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go to commercial break, do our shout-outs, we'll come back, we'll find a host, all that good stuff. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Hey everybody, I got a little bit of a treat. TLO is joining us. I know it's not like super cool to do this for like a weekly cup victory, but I thought that last series was really awesome, and I wanted to get some of his thoughts on it, actually, specifically with the Banelings. Before we do this, though, I will reiterate some of the things that he and I just finished discussing during the break, but also that I've been harping on during the series. aLive is a really good player, and he was coming to Europe at a terrible time in Korea. Like, he had a lot of odds working against him in that series. That being said, and that being understood by TLO and everyone watching, that was still a really fancy way to watch you play that game, man. All 3 of those games, to be precise.
Well, thanks. It just feels good to be able to pull off the way I want to play again. The boot camp just helped a lot. Being in Utrecht together with all my teammates and getting so much support from Team Liquid. Just basically having everything taken care of for almost 2 weeks. And just being able to put out 45 games every day without any worry about anything else. And I think that shows, and I hope I'm going to be able to show a lot more of that the upcoming weeks now. It kind of sucks because I was really bad all year, I felt. I didn't have any great results, but now my form is coming back at the worst timing ever, basically, because there's nothing to play for anymore. But I'm just going to try to keep training as hard as I can, so I can basically use this time now to get back in form.
Well, for whatever it's worth to you, we still have like a Ting Season 3 and some other things coming up. So at least for us, there's some stuff to play in.
Yeah, all the online stuff I'm going to try.
It is unfortunate, yeah, because you're right. Like, this is past the point. There's no more qualifying for BlizzCon. There's no more like really big events towards the end of the year. It is just going to be like getting ready for next year, I guess. Yeah. I really wanted to talk to you about the Banelings and stuff, but to put a pause on that, you mentioned the boot camp, and I was actually, would it be okay to ask you a couple of questions about that?
Oh yeah.
So we hear the term boot camping, I think, for a lot of things. You hear Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft 2, everywhere. Like, that's just everyone gets hard down for training. What really what goes on with that? Do you sit like round table with the other guys on Team Liquid and talk strategy? Do you just grind out games? Like, how does that go?
I mean, you just have to imagine. So it was all the Team Liquid boys, and then also Bunny had to go back because he has a lot to do with studying, and then Hostem came in as well. So he was kind of our substitute because he lives in Netherlands anyway, and he's a super awesome guy. So we always invite him, and we just play a lot of games. Everybody's sitting next to each other. And we just talk a lot to each other. It just helps a lot to have, Snoot sitting right there, and he's like kind of in between his games. He's watching my games and saying, dude, watch your gas. Don't attack there. You have a hotkey problem. And we kind of look at each other's screens and see these details that are much easier to see in person, what people are struggling with. So lots of games, lots of fun, just, people bonding a lot because it's always fun to hang out together, people that are on the same wavelength. Then yeah, just helping each other wherever we can.
That's really awesome. I love the idea, too, of like, because you and Snoot are obviously some of my favorite Zerg players, and I think of just generally Europe, you're like up there on the top, and it's nice to hear that like you guys can still help each other improve even further. That's really cool. I know that there's the thing, too, you tweeted about your thermal wouldn't lose like 30 games in a row or something on one day, like, so yeah. I knew that there were some crazy games being played in that boot camp, but that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, that was funny. Basically, he said he's like he hates his phone. He says like he doesn't have an HTC yet, by the way. So that's completely okay to say.
Sponsor drops, yeah, it's all good.
But like just because he was distracted by it, so he said, "I'm not gonna look at my phone until I lose the game," and then he just won 30 games in a row until I beat him on Dazan Station.
Oh, you were the one who ended it. Okay.
Yeah, I just Baneling busted him, and he was 1 point off being first rank or something. So. I felt kind
So
of bad about it, but it was really funny.
yeah, were you doing him a favor or a disservice? That's the real question.
Well, he had the rule either he gets rank 1 and stops, can look at his phone, or he loses and looks at his
Ah,
phone. So he
okay.
was like, either it didn't matter. After that game, he was allowed to look at his phone.
That's cool. Well, actually, so boot camping did. I know you've been doing bro tactics for a while. You've been doing the creative, special, cool tactics for a while. The Banelings here look so well rehearsed, though. Like I can't. Like we see other players try this from time to time, but you were doing a lot of stuff like specifically on the retreat. You'd have like 3 bro in the middle of corpses, like almost impossible to see, even to the observer, much less your opponent. Like, have you just been working on that specifically for a while, or is that just like, man, I've always been good at this move? Like that was so good to watch because it was so clean out of you.
I think it's more just things coming together again, because there's a lot of things I want to do, but then I'm not well practiced, or if I'm distracted by anything in my life, or if I have pain, it's very easy to be very focused and just do all these things and be on top of my mechanics. Because I'm a very mechanical player, even though people always say I'm a player that is creative. You know, I think when I'm at my best, I'm very mechanical. I just use those mechanics to do things that other people might not be doing, but it's very hard to do these things consistently. So I think I'm just enabled to do these things again now. I don't really need to practice where I put my banelings. That's just, you know,
Second
comes,
nature. Yeah.
yeah, it comes naturally. And also just Snoot. I always bring up Snoot, but it's like, seriously, anything good I'm doing is half because of Snoot. And he's just very cerebral about the game. He thinks so much about it. So now I'm thinking more about it as well because of him. Yeah, just core concepts that are just better again.
That's awesome, dude. I'm really glad to see you doing well. And you're right. It does kind of suck that it's at the end of the year when there's no really, really big things to shine for. But
Well, Home Story Cup, that's gonna be nice.
well, I hope you kick a lot of butts. Get the Koreans drunk, I think, is going to be the first step, right? Then fight them in their matches.
You know, just track them down to our level.
Well, I imagine, too, because, I mean, I've only been to one Home Story Cup, but from talking to partying and everyone there, like, they really see that as, like, an awesome vacation more than a tournament they're playing in, from what I understand. So,
Well, the Koreans that are coming are not quite like partying.
yeah, this one, I
So-
saw the invite list that TV's got out there. Like, holy moly.
Yeah.
That's going to be impressive. By the way, thank you, Liquid Euthermy. Just resub for 5 months, shouting TLO,
Nice.
TLO, TLO in chat. But okay, dude, I don't want to keep you too long. Like I said, I'll keep it short. I'll keep it sweet. Thank you again for joining. Thank you for playing and winning. That was awesome. The show matches this weekend or past weekend were cool too. I got a lot of money I got to send your way from payouts. Do you have any final words? Yeah, you're going to get a big paycheck. That'll be nice. You got any final words for stream before you take off?
Just, you know, come watch my stream tomorrow. I'll try to stream 6 hours again tomorrow, probably one earlier in the day and one later, my time. And just, you know, keep watching StarCraft and help people make a living out of this.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right, well, TLO, it's always awesome seeing you play, dude. Have a great day, and I look forward to catching your stream tomorrow after I'm done casting the aLive League, because that should time out pretty well, I think. So,
All right.
take care, dude.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one.
Bye. And of course, one final, I probably should have said this before I hung up. One final congratulations. Again, it's a little bit of a toned down accomplishment, but still it's cool to see him win Corsair Cup 3-0. Pretty smooth at that. But speaking of the Corsair Cup, guys, this tournament wouldn't be possible without Corsair. Boop, 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 boop. Showed off my cool mouse pad, keyboard, and all this other stuff earlier, but please know that all this equipment is super legit. I know with this hat, I'm in like super sellout mode. Maybe that'll help tone it down a bit with my terrible hair, but I really, really love Corsair Gear, and I would love for you guys to check it out, maybe start using it yourselves, and understand why I harp about it so much, because it is, again, I've been through Razer, Logitech, CM Storm, and I love Corsair best of all. But yeah, so again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Check out our other sponsors too. Someone asked earlier about Chairs for Gaming. There's a Canadian website, American website. BaseTradeTV will get you $20 off no matter which one you go to. You can, of course, check out our other sponsors. G2A will save you some money if you want some games for cheap. Yord Wood Watches, all that good stuff. Amazon links down below for Zombie Grub. I really don't have a lot more to say. I can't wait to go back and clip the highlights out of that last game, upload the co-op game that I did earlier, and looks like Zombie Grub's home too, so I might even do some co-op with her tonight. Either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you at 3 a.m. later tonight, 3 a.m. Pacific time, for the sickest aLive League ever. Again, the reminder, they got Innovation, Lucira, Ryung, Beyond, and a ton of other awesome people signed up. I think it's going to be a TVT fest by the end of it, but it's still going to be good. Either way, thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll go host somebody, give them our love, and I'll see you tomorrow.